The day is the 6th of December 2022. Turkey's foreign minister issues a stark warning to Greece. If Athens does not want peace, Ankara will do whatever is necessary, both legally and on the ground. What had happened to cause this escalation in language? A few months prior, Turkey was stepping up its rhetoric in response to what it saw as a Greek military build-up on Rhodes, Patmos, and other islands in the Aegean. Greece denied the accusations, with its foreign ministry calling the words both unprovoked and unacceptable. Tension in the region has led many to ask, could a war be possible between Greece and Turkey? In this video, we will explore the likelihood of a conflict, how costly it might be, and which state might emerge victorious. At first glance, a war between Greece and Turkey seems very unlikely. Both countries are members of NATO, the long-standing defensive alliance. Both are multi-party democracies and are closely tied to the European Union. Greece is an EU member state, and Turkey has secured a customs union since the 31st of December 1995. Trade also closely links the two states, with Greece exporting $2.5 billion to Turkey in 2022, and Turkey exporting $3.3 billion to Greece in the same year. However, such barriers have not prevented war in the past. In 1974, the Greek junta sponsored a military coup in Cyprus. Turkey responded by invading and occupying the north of the island. At the time, both countries were NATO members, but Greece withdrew from the command structure and became a less active member. The island of Cyprus remains divided to this day, with Turkey occupying the north and the Republic of Cyprus, an independent state in the EU, governing the south. A 112-mile-long UN ceasefire line divides the island, and the United Kingdom maintains two military bases at Dekelia and Akrotiri. The ongoing social conflict in Cyprus could possibly act as a flashpoint between Greece and Turkey. Yet recently, the tense rhetoric from both sides has focused on the Aegean dispute, a disagreement over claims in the Aegean Sea. This almost boiled over into war in 1987 and in early 1996. It is now bubbling once more. Greece is a signatory of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which sets out international rules about maritime claims and navigation. Turkey is not a signatory, and so does not recognize the territorial waters around the Greek islands near its coastline. In late 2022, tensions rose considerably, with Turkish President Erdogan threatening, "The islands you occupy do not bind us. We will do what is necessary when the time comes. As we say, we can come suddenly one night." The words echoed those used by Turkey for its military operation into Syria in 2020. Taken together, these events and dynamics suggest that war between Greece and Turkey cannot be ruled out. But what might such a conflict look like? One scenario is that Turkey could attempt a limited military operation to claim the islands near its coastline. Yet the overwhelming likelihood is that a maritime conflict like this would not be contained. Rather, past experience suggests it would escalate as both sides sought to project strength and save face. The result could be military activity on both nations' mainlands, involving large land forces and civilian populations. Greece and Turkey both possess imposing militaries. Greece has 142,000 active personnel with 221,000 in reserve. It spent 3.9% of its GDP on defense in 2022, amounting to 8.1 billion euros. Nonetheless, Turkey has the advantage with 355,000 active personnel, backed up by 378,000 reserves. Its military spending rose by 150% in 2024, up from $16 billion, nearly double Greece's budget. Turkey's manpower reserves also stand at 42 million, dwarfing Greece's 4.9 million, suggesting Turkey would win a war of attrition if it had to. Given these numbers, Greece would be foolish to attempt an offensive war against Turkey to enforce its claims in the Aegean. The scale of the task is heightened by Turkey's geography, with most of its territory and capital in Asia Minor. Getting there means crossing two perilous straits, the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus. This would require Greece occupying East Thrace very quickly to close an important war front and secure a launching pad into Asia Minor. Yet even if this implausible task could be achieved by the Hellenic army, it would still face the daunting task of an amphibious assault into Turkey. Such an attempt was made before. In 1915, the British launched the Gallipoli campaign to try and knock the Ottoman Empire out of World War I. The invading force was heavily defeated by mines, Turkish fortifications, open beaches and steep ravines, with 250,000 casualties resulting on each side. In 1919, the Greeks made another attempt to invade Asia Minor in the Greco-Turkish War. The conditions for Greece were quite favourable. The Ottoman Empire was crumbling, the Greek army had cover from the British Navy, and both sides fielded similar numbers in military strength. However, despite successfully expanding beyond its landing site in Smyrna, the Greek forces were eventually defeated at the Sakarya River and driven out of Asia Minor by September 1922. If these historical offensives failed despite Greece's support from great powers, it seems far less likely that a unilateral offensive would succeed today. What about a scenario where Turkey initiates hostilities? Could Greece withstand an invading force and preserve its territory? Turkey holds a significant advantage with its European foothold in East Thrace. In preparation for its offensive on the Greek mainland, it could gather its military assets there without the need for a high-risk amphibious operation. The road to Athens is largely flat, allowing Turkey to mobilize its mechanized land forces and build robust supply lines to feed its advancing army. However, the Maritsa River could impede Turkish forces for a while as Greece concentrated its forces on the bottlenecks at bridges. Without outside help, the Hellenic army would likely need to retreat from the border in the face of Turkey's stronger land forces. Turkey boasts 2,231 tanks to Greece's 1,365, 1,038 self-propelled artillery to Greece's 589, 1,747 towed artillery to Greece's 729, and 286 multi-launch rocket systems to Greece's 152. There is also a disparity in air power, with Turkey owning 205 fighters to Greece's 194, 502 helicopters to Greece's 289, 83 fixed-wing transports to Greece's 14, and 22 special mission aircraft to Greece's 8. In a defensive war, Greece would likely soon be on the ropes. The picture so far seems to heavily favour Turkey, yet Greece holds two key advantages in a defensive war: its topography and its allies. The road from East Thrace to Athens may be largely flat, yet 80% of Greece's terrain is mountainous, ideal conditions for guerrilla warfare. If Athens and other cities largely fell to Turkish forces, the game would not be over. The Hellenic army could regroup in familiar terrain in the mountains, where they would be difficult to track down and engage. The Italians experienced this challenge firsthand in World War II. On the 28th of October 1940, Italian dictator Mussolini invaded Greece from Albania. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the Greeks pushed back the Italian army, which could not use its mechanized units to full effect in the Pindus mountain range. The tide only turned when the German Nazi army invaded in April 1941, bringing overwhelming numbers and opening a new front in Bulgaria. Greece's second advantage in a defensive war is its allies. As a member of the European Union, Greece would likely invoke Article 42.7 of the Treaty of the European Union. This could take the form of weapons sales and donations from other EU states to the Greek armed forces, perhaps along similar lines to the EU assistance to Ukraine program. NATO would likely also bring its influence in support of Greece. The alliance was mainly built to protect members from external aggression, rather than intra-alliance conflict. However, influential members like the US could use diplomatic clout from within the organization to pressure a Turkish withdrawal. Direct military intervention from NATO seems unlikely. However, NATO would likely push Turkey into the status of an international pariah in an aggressive war, similar to Vladimir Putin over Ukraine. The resulting economic damage to Turkey would be immense, as sanctions and other punitive measures soon fell into place. Turkey's primary export destinations include Germany, the US, the United Kingdom, and Italy. Turkey's economy is already struggling in 2024, with inflation running at over 60%. A reduction or halting of Turkish trade could spark an economic crisis and make Turkey's offensive war unsustainable. Greece also has another card to play. On the 7th of October 2021, France and Greece signed a defensive pact. So an invasion by Turkey would likely not just contend with Greek forces, but also French forces. Turkey, for its part, has no strong allies to count on in an offensive war with Greece. The United States, its main ally since World War II, would likely distance itself from Turkey in the context of an aggressive war. In this scenario, Turkey might choose to lean more into its relationships with China and Russia. However, China is very far away with limited options to project its naval power in the Mediterranean. Russia's forces are currently tangled up in Ukraine and would likely need to overcome French and Greek navies in the Black Sea to move its land forces into the sphere of conflict. Overall, Turkey appears to have the upper hand in any limited and quick military operation against Greece. Islands near the Turkish coastline in the Aegean would be difficult to defend and would likely fall quickly to amphibious, artillery, and airborne attacks. Greece's advantage lies in adopting a defensive posture, relying on its difficult terrain and key alliances with the EU, NATO, and France. Over a longer war of months and years, Turkey would pay a high price for any attempt to enforce its claims. Past experience of war between Greece and Turkey, in Smyrna, Cyprus, and elsewhere show that a war would be very costly to human life. Ordinary Greeks and Turks would suffer greatly, with little to show for the sacrifice. Clearly, both sides have an incentive to live together in peace, working towards regional stability and prosperity in their region. Recent events in 2024 suggest that tensions are waning. We hope that you enjoyed this video. Please consider liking and subscribing to support the channel so we know there is demand for more of our content.